Now I made another promise. I'll reveal that secret now, but I emailed President Trump as soon as they open up that Bible, showed Chronicles 2020. I says, y'all want a clear vision 2020? No problem. And I emailed, and they said, who is this guy? Well, I had a judge once, his name was Judge Crawford. He says, man, this kid, you know, he goes, he comes into the courthouse and he sees all this messed up stuff happening. And man, he just went to town. He's faxing, emailing, mailing, dropping off notes, letters, theses on law and everything else, trying to protect people. Man, that's a pretty cool dude. So he says, man, maybe I'll do the same thing with the president. Yeah, I know. President Donald Trump was a good man. I says, man, I need you to go out there and just show him what's wrong with the world. And he goes, man, did he say the world or the word? They weren't too sure of it because I just said, hey, God will steer you clear, the guardians. And we said, Mr. Trump, I know you would like to win the election, but maybe if the presidents could work together. So he's like, let the other guy win, and we'll help the other guy. So Trump has been helping the other president because that's the promise he made. And Donald J. Trump and Pence said, promises made or promises kept. They walked into the office, showed the world what was wrong, and then showed them that despite one president a Republican, the other one a Democrat, that both sides could work together, so maybe that both sides of the world could learn to work together, And you go, that's pretty good advice. Well, that's why they call the ministers and the preachers and the churches, they're like presidential advisors. Because when the president looks over the entire country and says, what's wrong with our country? What do we need? Well, you got those ministers out there trying to build better communities. And they go, what do we do? And you got those sheriffs out there trying to help keep people safe. And then you got the police going, please don't do that. Let us help you. You see, there's citizens on patrol, cops. We changed the name from cops to police. Because in psychology and psychiatry it says, hey, don't do a cop out, tell us it's wrong so we can help you, So then people took that wrong because they didn't understand it, and they say, oh man, if I do this or that, and then the cops will come get me. So we changed the name to police. Please, pay attention in school. Please do what you're supposed to do. We call them courtesy officers. You go, why is Mr. Kirk talking about the police or courtesy officers? It's like, well, if you have courtesy, you say please and thank you. They're like, what do you mean? You mean police the whole time meant please and thank you? And he says, well, everybody learn to thank the military for their service. Or like, can you thank the sheriffs and the police for their service? I mean, they're helping take care of the citizens, And it's like, wow. And the residents, And they go, I walk in the courthouse and they say, man, this is a totally bad deal, but Mr. Kirk trying to figure out all the problems and stuff. Hey, man, he's doing a little research. He walks over to the sheriff and they're like, man, it's a good deal then. Look, he just thanked the sheriff for his service. Everybody's thanking the military. Anybody ever think to thank the sheriffs? Those deputy sheriffs, some of them are like vets. Can you hire vets? And they're like, what is a vet? I mean, every time you hear about, you just think about, immigration reform. Well, we got immigration of foreigners into the United States, and then we got immigration of bad people into good people, And they go, well, can you hire vets? Because we're vetting people. You get it? Vetting people to figure out who's American and who's not. Are you a citizen or a resident? You could be a resident and a citizen, Like, can you see the sign? It says America, On a map, the big sign, it says America, because it's a miracle land, People don't look at things like that, and you're like, well, they don't teach that in the schools anymore. And it says they did in the schools that I went to. So, negro man, I'll tell you what I mean. You know, don't be upside down. That makes you look like a drone. You know, get right side up and Top Gun. You know, see, the sound of freedom is the good words that come from your mouth. And you go, you know, don't fire unless fire upon, you know. So why you speak words of hate, you know? And then we go, see, that's like an Indian language and sign language. Not everybody can understand all the signs, so we made signs for people to start to understand. You get it? And that's why you should go to church. And man, can't believe Mr. Kirk is just trying to get people to go to church, or at least have some kind of club or function in a community where people can learn to be good to each other. You know? Two. You know? Peace. See? Peace sign? 2 commandments. That's why peace sign is like 2. Hey, of all the 10 commandments, if you just remember 2, love God, love your neighbors yourself. And you go, man, that's One Nation Educators. The army of One Nation Educators. They go, man, I thought Mr. Kirk was just about the Navy. I says, no, I'm more than the Navy. My dad was in the Navy. I love the Navy. It's the waters and the waters, the guardians of the coasts, of the good lands anywhere in the world. And then we have the Army of One. One is like an acronym. One Nation Educators. One Nation for God.